So AI is here whether we like it or not. And speaking of like it or not, you're either in camps of, I really don't like this robot takeover, or, oh, this is great, I'm going to use it for every single thing I can think of. There needs to be a middle ground, but how do you actually use it? And before we get started, I understand this is more of like a workout strength channel. But in order to do things in those categories, you have to know what to do, right? And AI is now an option for education because it can get you information quickly. But is that always a good thing? Let's dive in. So, growing up, I had goals of like, you know, I want to be stronger in XYZ. So what I do, I would research programs. Shout out to Muscle and Fitness Magazine back in the day. So I'd research programs on how to do XYZ, right? Or as I got into the iron game, I started having these injuries. So what would I do again? I would like watch videos and read about, mobility and all that kind of stuff. As I was writing this, actually, I asked AI about, I forget which model, it doesn't matter, about a diet program I had done before and I knew about and I had read the book. And I don't even know, back when I found the book or discovered the diet, I didn't read the whole book, but I read the book again. And then I asked AI about it. And it kind of gave me a summary and it was a little bit off, actually, which was interesting. I had to actually go in and tell it, well, no, actually it says this. And then AI, of course, was just like, oh, yeah, you're right. Let me adjust this, adjust this. So AI is wonderful, but all it can do is kind of just give you a summary of what's out there, right? It's wonderful in that it's a advanced Google search because it curates everything that could be out there, because I know the pain of, let me Google this thing, but now I have to read through these articles and see which one actually applies to me. So great for summary. The other problem I have with it, which is never going to change, is that it's too fast, right? There is something called context. If you're not familiar, when you ask AI something, you have to say, okay, give me this, but here's the situation applied to me. Unless you actually do that, it's just going to spit out the information without any regard to your current situation. And the other thing is, I think I already said this, but I'll say it again, the speed at the information, I think everybody's excited for, but I believe it's almost irrelevant, okay? And I'll go into more detail later. Now, like I said, AI for training, how can we use it? Because, you could have this training modality you want to do. Let's say it's like weightlifting, but you don't feel like sitting down and reading everything about, linear progression, periodization, all those different things, right? What do you do? Do you just sit down and tell AI to make you a wizard and all this stuff? It's not always going to be that easy, because I don't think our brains can keep up with that speed. What I would highly recommend people do is go back to good old-fashioned reading. And again, the speed thing, people are going to think, well, reading is going to take too long. I don't know. Like, if you just spent, if you had a book by somebody with 20 years experience, and even if it was slow for you and it took you a month to read, you get to cram in that life experience within 30 days and have more understanding. And the thing with reading is that you spend more time with the material. Now, when people hear that, they think AI beats that, but our brains haven't really caught up to the speed that AI gives us. It takes a while for things to drill in our head, which is why your parents would repeat things over and over again, or it took however many years you were with them, 18 years, with your parents, with the school system, with your teachers, with your friends, if you have a new friend group, it takes a little while to kind of adopt the mindset, because it just takes time, right? The time spent with reading, right? 30 minutes a day, that's a decent amount of time. And then all the information that's coming in is not just a bullet list of information, right? I have this example, say what you will about him, but Greg O'Gallagher from Kinobody, think more like 10 years ago, right? I mean, he's been saying the same things over and over again, but you could have just watched his videos and understood what to do. But when I read a couple of his books, it had his backstory. Not only did that kind of give more reason behind his to do, but it gave his added conviction, because you're like, oh, this guy had this problem and this kind of applies to me. Same with like Jim Wendler. So you can read his program in 2 seconds, but to understand why he chose what he did, you read the book, adds a little more reasoning behind yourself as to why you should do it, right? That's more conviction, I should say. And our brains, it takes more than just a bullet list. Our brains kind of work in this web, right? Interconnected stories. And I think I already said this, the speed. Like, I don't think just because something comes in faster doesn't make it better, right? What if you took a movie, let's say you watched a movie for the first time and somehow you watched it on, I don't know, digital, but you could watch it at 2 times speed. Would that make it better because you got the movie faster? Of course not, right? So the speed is okay to get a group of things, but to understand it takes time. Another thing AI cannot do or the combination you need to work with is downtime, mental downtime. Everyone knows like shower thoughts or having ideas when you wake up. That's because your brain is at rest. So it wasn't a matter of the information, it was what was sitting in your head already and what your brain works on while you're resting. And so what bubbles up to the surface. Okay, this is making sense? I don't know, you tell me, but I think so. And the last thing is a vessel, or the goal that you're getting this information for in the first place. I would hope that if you do use AI for learning or figuring out what to do with your own programs, you would give it as much context as possible and say, okay, I know that I need a program to increase my squat, but I don't have that much time in the week. Or I'm an Olympic lifter and I need it to work in with my Olympic lifts, right? Just all those factors coming into play are based on your goals. And it's more than just asking AI to increase my squat, because it could be like, just do the small off program. But then you just think, I don't have 4 days a week. I need to do other things. I have a training on top that I'm already doing that I need to add to whatever you're about to give me. So context is very important. And your specific goal and situation is also super important. All right. None of this stuff are things that AI can do, except the last one where you actually tell it your constraints. And I think the last thing is just, it can't, I'll go into a rant about this later, but it can't do stuff for you no matter what. Okay. You get the information super fast. Like everybody kind of knows, quick Google search, but it's just for quick information and it doesn't soak in very long. Isn't that sad that we have information at our fingertips and it just hits us so fast that our primitive brains can't keep up? And then we probably scroll on our phones and we forget it anyway. So I don't know. AI, I'm not here to bash it, but how can we actually use it for our health? I would recommend to use it as a last resort. And I know it's going to be annoying because we're in this age of I want more and I want more faster, but we're going to have to slow down and do the old things, right? The old stuff still works and it doesn't take as much time as you think. And it actually will help your intelligence, quote unquote, because it will add to your brain the information the way that we used to get it in the first place, the good old fashioned way, and it'll soak and stick better. Right. So what do you actually do? If like using it for the gym, number one, you have to have your goals again. And on the other side of that are the problems you have. Just live your life and your goals will kind of come up to you. I always say like, goals are wonderful, but what you're frustrated with in the current moment is more powerful because it's right in front of you. I wrote something. I think I said, wherever you're stuck with sticks. But the same thing, wherever you get stuck is what your goals will be. Okay. And then the next thing you need to do is learn the old way, which is learn slowly. And people don't like to hear that, but I feel AI is here alive and well, but people are generally the same. You could argue that we're getting worse in terms of like health, but obviously the information isn't a problem. It's the understanding. So if you learn slowly, like I keep coming back to this story because I've been doing it. I don't low bar squat, but starting strength. Okay, everybody knows it's 3 sets of 5 adding weight each time. There is a ton more nuance in there, especially with the programming. The blue book talks about why to do the exercises the way they're listed. I understand there are YouTube videos that are 2 or 3 minutes long, so you don't have to read them. And then there's the gray book, which goes into more detailed programming. But I could say, well, skip all that. I'm going to get a general idea of starting strength. 3 sets of 5, adding 5 pounds, no matter what, right? Every single time. Oh, I'll bench 400 pounds in a year. I'll squat 700 pounds, whatever. But I could have done that, and I could have just watched the videos and gone on with my life. But it wasn't until I read the books. You don't have to agree with everything somebody says, but you can understand the reasoning behind why they pick. Okay, there's a reason why Ripito chose the low bar squat, even though you may not want to follow it. I have a good understanding as to why he would pick it. Right? That doesn't mean it's the end all be all, but you just have a better understanding there. And to just either blindly say, okay, low bar squat is where it's at, or say the low bar squat is silly, has nothing to do with athleticism. Can you at least understand why he would pick it? Yes or no? All right. So, but you're not going to get that from watching the video on how to set up for the squat in 2 seconds. Next step is to curate your information or think about your constraints. Seriously, if you get like the top 2 or 3 books in the subject, you'll know more than like 90% of people out there. But then you have to think, this information is wonderful. How does it apply to me, or where can I fit it in with what I want? Okay, it's one thing to follow the program to a T, but if you have your own life and constraints, figure it out. Figure out where it belongs. Next step number 4. This is the hard part for a lot of people, is to think and plan. And why do I say it's hard? You need these 2 modes of, or I guess there's 3, but 2 modes of education. One is you get it with the reading. 2, you just have to let it soak in there, okay? I talk about the speed of AI and things. It doesn't matter how much you know about gardening, because it's still going to take your plants a season to grow, right? It doesn't matter how much a mother learns as much about healthy pregnancy as possible and eats the best food. How long does it take to grow a baby? About 9 months, right? We can't speed that up. Your training is going to be this circle now. So you're going to get the information, think about, okay, that was wonderful. Make a plan with it, apply it to yourself. But then you're going to start it. You're probably going to have a hiccup, right? Bad night of sleep, hitting a wall with the program. Do you abandon it? Obviously, no. You maybe go back to more education. And especially with the plan thing, everyone, I think another scare is AI is going to take over as a coach. Were there not coaches before AI? And AI is not going to come to the gym with you, I guess, unless you include your phone. But there's no human interaction. And the AI workflow, the human interaction is your own brain working on this stuff. And as far as AI now, step number 5 is you can finally are in a better position to use it. Okay. I heard this thing about like when you have a student that doesn't know much, they don't ask good questions. But when you have gone through a better process, you can ask better questions. So AI is a wonderful tool, but the more you know about the thing already, you can, instead of just like telling me what to do, you get to bounce back and forth with it. Okay. That's what, AI I'm able to give you like, here's this other thing you can learn, or it's called like rubber ducking in the coding world. If you just get an inanimate object, not AI, that doesn't talk to you, when you when you let your thoughts come out, you see what's surfacing out of your own head. AI actually, luckily, can talk back to you, so use it. And then step number 6, as with anything, is iterate. You're going to mess up. Think about it first, all right, how to break through, or read research about how to break through, and then go back through the process. It's a never-ending cycle, right? You could set a goal of like, I want to squat 400 pounds. If you have a smooth path there, you probably either have no to low responsibilities or you're a professional athlete. So you're going to mess up, come back to the drawing board, like the good old phrase says. So that's it. Actually, that's not it. There is a phrase I heard from an author. I forget who it was, but it's called, if a machine cannot commit seppuku, which is ritualistic Japanese self-termination of life, it cannot write poetry. Everybody, or the people that are afraid of AI these days, are talking about like, oh, it's gonna get rid of artists, or you don't know who's real on the internet or who's making content. Am I real? I don't know. I don't think anybody can make a beard like this, so I think I'm pretty unique. But people are afraid of, like in the health world, it's like, why do I need a coach, right? Coaches are like, oh no, people don't need me anymore. I don't think so, right? AI can make a piece of art only with the context that people give it, and it can only take from other art that's out there, right? It can't, it can make it, I guess, but it can't tell you whether or not it's good. Other people can't tell you whether or not art is good either. It can't live life experience. It can write an article about somebody's life, but if you're at somebody's, if you had to think about how that person impacted you, it can't do that. It's not a human, right? It can write for the health world, it can write a training program and can't make you show up. Can't tell you what food you like to eat, right? Even though if it makes a diet. It can't, when you do well in the gym, it can't get excited for you, right? You can tell it and it can artificially be like, good job. It's just not the same, okay? There will never be a replacement for human interaction. So don't worry about this Terminator Matrix world, okay? It only will do the things that we tell it to, and it still will have its limitations. Should you use it? I don't know. Is it a good tool? Yes, it is. But either don't fear it completely, but then if you're going to use it in the right way. So that's it. I need to be better about this. If you have sticking points in your own training, let me know. Are you using AI too much? Is AI not giving the answers you want? See my segue there. But yeah, comment below what you think about this whole subject. What do you think about training in general? I will answer it the best I can. And thanks for watching. Now go read a book.